Hola, hello everybody. I'm Masanori Kobayashi, Program Director of the Sasakawa Peace Foundations. I am here in Cali, Colombia, attending the 16th session of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity. I'm interviewing some of the leading participants in the COP16 of the CPD, championing the actions for achieving sustainable ocean and sustainable blue economies. Please look forward to the featured interviews that will follow in this information platform. Thank you. Hi, Masanori Kobayashi from Cali CBD COP16. I have a distinct pleasure to have Ambassador Peter Thomson, United Nations Special Envoy for the Ocean, to be with me to tell us a bit more about what is happening and what we expect for this COP16 in Cali, Colombia. Ambassador Peter Thomson, what is your reflection so far by attending this COP16 and what you see a great achievement and enthusiasm demonstrated by the participants here? May I ask for your viewpoint on this?
Thank you. Well, I think a lot of people wondered why we were directed all the way here to Cali in Colombia for this meeting, and those of us that got here understood why when we saw how beautiful this place is. The biodiversity is so rich around here. There's a big mountain range up over there. We're surrounded by sugarcane fields out to the other side of us. Birds in the trees, flowers in the trees. It's such a beautiful place, so rich in biodiversity. What are we here for? We're here to make peace with nature. We're here to make sure that we don't have this cascading away of biodiversity that science tells us we're facing. So that's our preoccupation, make peace with nature. And I'd have to say that this is probably the most successful biodiversity COP I've ever attended. Certainly from the ocean point of view, it's really encouraging to see how, no longer are we trying to convince people about the problems. It's about what we're going to do about it now. And everybody's coming together on that very strongly. Sorry, I'm being surrounded by biodiversity.
Yeah, excellent. And I really felt that the Sunday Ocean Day was a great success. And also this morning I saw a number of high-level people reiterating their commitment to 30 by 30 and the BBNJ agreement. Can you tell us a little more about what we can expect to this COP16 in terms of achieving sustainable ocean?
Well, interesting you say sustainable ocean, because I've just come from the sustainable ocean planning presentation, and of course Japan's a member of the high-level panel for sustainable ocean economy that has sustainable ocean plans as its main recommendation that we should all do. And I think this is a very important thing, because I'd like to talk about protecting 30% of the planet, but what about the other 70%? When it comes to the ocean, we want to make sure that it's the 100% of the ocean that is being looked after. And that's where sustainable ocean plans come in, because they are about comprehensive plans for whether it's EEZs. I think eventually we'll get to the high seas, but 30 by 30. So that 30% that we are going to identify for protection, currently the world is at about 8%. So it's a big ask between now and 2030 to get another 22% on board. It's a big ask, but it's just a task, It's a massive task, but it's a task. So we are capable of doing that as human beings. We can arrange that. And my big thing here in Cali, the big message I've been giving everybody is 30 by 30 is an existential necessity that's been agreed by the global community at the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework consensus that we arrived at 2 years ago. So how do we practically get that in the terms of the ocean, that other 22% that I'm talking about done over the next 6 years? Well, one of the things I'm doing here in Cali is to devise an understanding, a simple plan of reaching that 30% target for the ocean. And to me, it's a matter of identifying, let's say, the top 20 high seas and EEZs MPAs of sufficient size to get us to the 30%. Let's identify them. Let's, on that chart over the next few days, let's show who's going to be responsible for implementing those, how the regional consultations are being carried out, who's doing the environmental impact assessments for each one of them, and how are we going to present them to the BB&J for rubber stamping, let's put it that way, and let's say in 2029 or 2028, whenever I would say the second COP of BB&J takes place. So that, as I say, it's achievable. We just have to have a plan, and we're devising that plan here in Cali over the next couple of days.
Excellent, thank you, Ambassador Peter Thomson. One more question about this keys to overcome challenges. I see the gaps in terms of funding, human resources, leadership, government commitment, people's engagement. How can we really overcome such challenges in order to achieve 30 by 30 target, or maybe 100% sustainably managed ocean policy objectives?
There are definitely gaps. I mean, all your listeners should familiarize themselves with the UNEP emissions gap report that's just come out, because that shows that we're well behind in our adherence to the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement and the SDGs. But we'll have to just play catch up between now and 2030. The Secretary General of the United Nations, when he read that recent report from UNEP, said, if leaders, and you mentioned leaders, if leaders don't close the gap in emissions, that we are going to be plunging headlong into climate disaster. Not climate crisis, not climate change, or disaster. And of course we're seeing the beginnings of that already. So that's why we all have to try harder.
Excellent, thank you. And just last questions. I guess the role that you are playing right after you arrive in Cali, I know that you had to go straight to the meeting rooms and had to make a number of speeches and remarks. What are the role that you are trying to play in the coming months and years in terms of this achieving sustainable oceans? What do you really plan to undertake?
I think that we're building up towards the third UN Ocean Conference, so it's a question of getting everybody motivated as to what their various responsibilities are in that regard, whether it's protection or whether it's fisheries or whether it's science or the legal side of things, ratifying BB&J, etc. Making sure that everybody's aware that we're approaching that third UN Ocean Conference. And these are not just gatherings of people to talk. These are actually moments where we hold our feet to the fire and honestly assess how we're doing in an intergenerational sense, with that kind of responsibility. Are we progressing towards the goals that we have set ourselves? So moments of honesty is what UN Ocean Conferences are. So you've got, not so many months now left to get your act together and make sure that you turn up at Nice for the UN Ocean Conference with putting your best foot forward. That's the main message I'm giving. But also it's a question of saying to everybody, don't expect other people to do this for you. This is everybody in, bringing it all together. Individuals, countries, business, with the government, science, with NGOs, everybody's in this together. So I think that's my main message, and people seem to like hearing that, because inclusivity is always a good message for people. But I'm jumping from meeting to meeting, as you said, and I've got another one to join right now. But thanks very much for the interview. I've enjoyed getting these points across.
The Sustainable Peace Foundation definitely play a role in facilitating stakeholder engagement and encourage governments to demonstrate the leadership. And even for Japan, I think ocean will be the increasingly important policy agenda as well. What do you suggest that we keep good eyes on the initiatives and activities that are forthcoming in the next months and year.
Well, exactly. I mean, Japan has two big events coming up. The World Ocean Summit in March, being held by the Economist and Nippon Foundation in Tokyo. And then, of course, there's and I'm attending and speaking at that, but then there's quite a few important events happening on the shoulder of that.
Right.
Ocean Panel meeting, Friends of Ocean Action meeting, Pacific Islands Forum meeting. So there's a lot happening in March in Tokyo. But then down in Osaka, of course, we've got the expo underway, and the Blue Dome there is going to be putting focus on ocean action and what's required. I'm also hoping to visit that in July and speak there. So a lot on in Japan for your listeners, and I think together we can.
Thank you, Ambassador Peter Thomson, for your partnership and encouragement to us and collaborations, and we wish you all the best. We continue to collaborate to achieve our common objectives of achieving sustainable ocean and sustainable economies. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it. Thanks for your help.
Bye.
Okay, let's get it.